everybody, I'm Matthew, I work here at the library, and next to me is Jasmine, she also works here at the library. And today we're going to run you through our simple science experiments. We're going to be using bicarb soda and vinegar, and everything that you should have in your house.
Remember that you'll need a parent's or guardian supervision and support through this experiment because things are going to get smelly and messy.
So, we need to talk you through the equipment list, what you're going to need. First off, we have to talk something very serious. We need safety equipment. When you're doing this experiment's going to be smelly and messy, and it's going to get everywhere. Other things may be a bit more dangerous, and you've got to start preparing now for when you do stuff in the future, so we have to be careful with what we do. First off, no loose clothing. You have to have stuff tight, put away. We're wearing aprons. You can wear an apron, you can wear a jacket, something that will protect your clothes from stuff getting on them. You're going to need safety glasses, which is very important because you don't want things to be splashed into your eyes. You can get goggles as well. You don't just need the glasses. You should be able to find them in your shed. Again, ask your parents' permission. Last, we need gloves, because we're going to be using vinegar today. Vinegar is an acid, and while we do use it in cooking and it's very, very mild, we still don't want any of this stuff getting on our hands. So make sure you put the gloves on, and we're ready to go.
For the experiments themselves, you will need
So, guys, we're going to do the volcano first. Now, what the volcano is going to do is demonstrate the principles of what's going to happen in the bottle rocket. Now, to do this, we need to do it either in the kitchen sink, the laundry sink, the shower, or the bath, somewhere where it's easy to clean up and it's not going to make a mess. You see down here, we've got this plastic coating on our table. That's because we know it's going to make a mess. Don't do it somewhere where you can get it on the carpet or the furniture, or your parents are going to be very angry with you and me, and I don't want that, alright? So, first, put your safety equipment on. Next, get your assistant, if you don't have one, do it yourself, to get the cup and put it in the middle of the table, or the middle of the area you're using that is easy to clean. So this one's pretty simple at first. So what we're going to do is just going to put a little bit of vinegar into the bottom of the cup. There we go. So we're going to put some food coloring in there because we're going to make some colors that is going to happen with the reaction. Now here's the question. What do you think is going to happen with the reaction? Take a moment here, stop the video, talk with your parents, write something down. What do you think is going to happen when we add the bicarb soda to the vinegar? There we go, we're back. So now we're going to add about a tablespoon of bicarb soda to the vinegar. Alright, now when you do this, be careful, make sure you got your protective equipment on, and step back. So you can see here, it's fizzed up, it keeps going. We didn't want to put heaps there because we're drawing it on a table. If you want to have some fun, and your parents let you, or your guardians let you, do a lot more. Do different colors, let it go. But right now, we saw that fizz reaction. Now, do you know why that was? Was it what you expected from what you asked before? Well, let's go through it again. We had the bicarbonate soda that acted as our base, and the vinegar which acted as our acid. Now, the reaction occurs when the two of them mix. But why? Well, it works out that they both have things the others want. What happens when the base and the acid reacts, the bicarb soda and the vinegar, is that it physically changes. We get some different things happening. We get the bicarb soda and the vinegar mixing to become physically different in that it becomes water, it becomes sodium acetate, a salt, and it becomes carbon dioxide. So the salt mixes in the water, but the carbon dioxide is a gas. It fizzes up, it escapes. That's what we saw when we saw it all fizzling and going over the top. It was the gas escaping from the reaction. Now, this is what we want to do. We did it in a cup the first time to show how easily it fizzes up and how it gasses. Now here's the question. We're going to use the same principles in the second part. What do you think is going to happen when we do it with the bottle rocket? Hint, it's in the name. But why? Why is it going to react so differently because we're doing it in a bottle compared to a cup? Again, talk to your parents or guardians, sit down, have a think about it, and come up with what you're going to do. Write it down and put it in the bottom at our comments, and we'll see if you're right.
Hi, so now we're actually making our bottle rockets. So from here you actually need the recycled bottle. So I've got an old milk bottle here, an old drink bottle here. For this experiment you'll need them to be cleaned, washed and dry, ready to go. Next you'll need your pencil, your ruler and your piece of paper, because we need to measure how long or how tall the bottle is. And from here we need to know what the measurement is for 1/3 of this bottle. This is going to be used to measure how tall the fin is going to be, because not only does the fin need to be attached to the bottle, but it's going to be attached and away from the bottle to give it a bit of grounding before it actually creates the experiment. From here, this is where you can colour and beautify your fins. So you can see that I've got some inspirational quotes for my rocket here. And this is where the time that you can also give your rocket a name. You can just call it a name, so when the rocket does its thing, you can yell it out as it's going up, or you can write it on the side of the rocket if you choose to. Here you need some masking tape because you need to stick the fins to the bottom of the rockets, and here's some I prepared earlier. And now they're all ready to go for the experiment. So after we make our rocket bottles look pretty and attach the fins, we actually have to prepare the bottles with all of the ingredients ready to go. The very first thing that we need to prepare and get ready is the vinegar. So this is an average 500 ml bottle, and I'm going to put and pour into the measuring jug 100 mils. So after we prepare the vinegar in our rocket bottle, we are going to get some scrap piece of paper. So this piece of paper is about half the size of an A4 piece of paper, and from here we're going to put the bicarb soda in the middle. So I'm using a tablespoon or a dessert spoon that you have in the kitchen, and I'm going to do a heaped tablespoon of that. And I'm going to put it right in the middle of the piece of paper. Remember that science and experiments are naturally messy, so it doesn't matter if you get it all over the place. And then I'm going to fold it over. Remember that you have to do it quite loosely, because when it gets into the bottle you want the bicarb soda to start to escape and be added to the vinegar. There we go, ready to go. But remember that it has to be quite thin, because it does need to fit into the top of the bottle, which is sometimes, like this one, a little bit thinner than the bottle itself. So from here, we are ready to go with the experiment.
Welcome back, guys. We moved this one outside because, as we said at the start of the video, it's going to be messy and it's going to be smelly. So do this in your backyard or your front yard if you need to, and away from your parents' cars. So, you've got your vinegar in your bottle, you've got your bottle cap. When we put the bicarb soda in, we're going to put the bottle cap on, not all the way, just the 1 or 2 screws, and then you're going to turn it upside down and shake it, put it on the table, and then step back. Alright guys, ready? Let's go! It's not going to work. Take 3. This time, to make sure it works, I've added a lot more vinegar and a lot more bicarb soda. Don't try this part. Hey everybody, so we've had some challenge with our rockets. You'll see in the video that we failed a lot, and that's okay. It's all about experimentation. So what we're going to do, we actually figured out what was wrong was the lids. So we were using the screw top lids that came from the bottles. When they were loose enough that they could blow off, they were letting too much pressure out. When they were tight enough that they were holding all the pressure in, they weren't blowing off. So what you can do is use corks. Now we've got a bunch of different corks that can fit all the different kinds of bottles. We've also got some 600ml bottles with some smaller openings so the corks can fit in better. Now if your corks can't fit in snugly, you can actually wrap it in a bit of tape to make it tighter and it sits in. When you do this, you want to make sure that it's snug but not too tight that it can't blow out. So it might take some experimentation and a couple of goes at doing it. So let's get back to making the rockets. So when you do this as well, you can use a paper to make a little bit of a funnel to make it easier to get the bicarb soda in, because you don't actually need to make the little parcel. As long as you put the cork on quick enough and turn it upside down, you should be fine. We'll do another one so we can show it again, but this one will be a bit smoother. Alright, let's go. So again, we're putting the vinegar in up to the line down here, because again, it's based on the size of your bottle. You don't want too much, then you don't want too little. Yep.
I'll still say that that's a brown feel.
Where's the cork? There's the cork. Find your cork.
Ready?
Go. And there you have it, your bicarb soda rocket. So we saw what happened with the rocket. Now we got to figure out why. Do you have any guesses? Again, pause the video, talk to your parents, put your guesses below in the comments. So what happened with our gases and our explosion there was exactly to do with the gases. Before, when we put it in the cup, we had a very large space, an area where the gas could easily escape. In the bottle, not so much. So we put it in a small container, which caused the pressure to increase, which is why the cap blew off the bottom of our rocket. Think of this like a balloon. We get our balloon, and we blow, and we blow, and we blow. All the air's in here. Now, I'm going to get my pin. Where did I put my pin? Now, when the gas escapes really quickly, that happens. It's got a lot of area to escape, it just comes out when it's done. Now, of course the pressure in our bottle couldn't actually break the bottle, so what happens this time? Well, this. Gas escaping. And that's why it did it. Have fun. Remember, for science! And post your comments in the bottom, show us your rockets, and our rocket has the best name, and I bet you because it's the AUS Smelly Butt. Have a good one.